Hey, welcome to Come On You Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Spurs. Today we are taking a look back at the match between Tottenham and Shakhtar Donetsk. The match took place at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, 2 p.m. kickoff. This is a live stream. With me on the other side, I've got Chuma. Tottenham run out 5-1 winners. We'll take a look back at the key points and key moments and talking points during the match. Join us on the other side. In the meantime, come on, you Spurs. Welcome back. This is Come On You Spurs TV, where we talk about everything Spurs. Like I said in the preamble, we are going to take a look back at the talking points and the key moments in the match between Tottenham and Shakhtar Donetsk. What a match. Preseason Ange Postecoglou's first match in charge at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And, I mean, fitting outcome, if you like, for attacking play and fun football that Tottenham fans have been craving for so long. What a start. Chuma, I know that you have this news for customers. Did I say customers? For viewers. For those who are fans and those who love this channel.
Good afternoon, Common News Spurs Nation. At the end of a very, very good game, Ange Postecoglou's first game, we just want you to please do us a favor of liking and subscribing and commenting, especially now. This is a live event. You get involved and comment on anything you want us to talk about regarding the game, regarding transfers, regarding anything to do with Tottenham Hotspur from this point forward as well. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. Right. So let's go back and see what's happening here at Tottenham Hotspur. Right. So where do we start? Where do we want to make? Where do we even start? I mean, Chuma, I know that I saw the game first half. There's a lot to talk about. I mean, first couple of minutes, turn from Harry Kane to take things forward. Good save from the keeper, and next thing you know, you had even Mr. What's his name now, Mr. Emerson pressing forward in the inverted role.
Yeah.
So many great points to take from this match. You take it away, and I'll bring you the points as well. I mean, it's something to be excited about, I guess. From a Tottenham perspective.
I'll put it this way. I think it's something that our good brother Folabi, who is also on the show most times as well, he put down, "You're only as good as the opposition allows you to be," and that was in reference to, I said I expected to see Shakhtar attack Spurs, but then I was wondering, can they attack, or is it the fact that they have been hemmed in so much that they can't attack? And I think it's the latter. From the kickoff, it was obvious Spurs were pressing, Spurs were in shape, and it just, the first 7 minutes, I think I counted like 2, 3 chances that already you could see things were developing. It was just a question of wrong pass in here, this happening, and then their goalkeeper who started the game, this was his last competitive match or last match for Shakhtar Donetsk, and he's been a very, very good servant for them. And he put in some really good saves. Like he wasn't going to go out conceding.
I mean, yeah,
You observed that as well.
That was really, really impressive from his perspective. I mean, obviously, last match in charge. This guy has played 452 matches for Shakhtar, and they gave me a fitting send off. And someone was saying that maybe they should do the same thing for Lloris at Tottenham as well. But I'm pretty sure that we'll do something when the time comes, if we're able to do it. I mean, before he heads up, because obviously he's looking for opportunities elsewhere. But I mean, I think like I said, Kane effort on goal, first couple of minutes of the match. Emerson follows up, And then you had this, Papa Matassa effort as well. I mean, all within the first few minutes. I mean, thankfully, okay, from Shakhtar's perspective, if that ball had gone either side of the keeper, that was a sure goal from Sa. But what struck me
Twice actually. He had the ground one as well. He
exactly,
had the ground shot first that was straight,
yeah,
then the turn volley that the
absolutely.
keeper tipped
Now,
over brilliantly.
what struck me was the fact that we had this really, really good press at the beginning of the match, which didn't allow any turnover at all of the ball or anytime we lost the ball, we gained it back very, very quickly, almost like we were all over them like a rush. And you mentioned earlier on that it was almost impossible for them to sort of attack us. Why are they attacking us? You answered the question yourself because we were all over them like a rush. I found that to be really, really impressive. What do you think?
I was really impressed with Pierre Emil Højbjerg. Like, you know, we love him, we hate him. Pierre Emil Højbjerg, for most fans out there, he's like Marmite. But my goodness, he played that sixth position perfectly well today. He simplified it. He didn't do anything too great. He didn't do anything bad. He just collected the ball, passed it on. He now joined up with Romero and Ben Davies, who were the centre backs. Whenever the players were pushing forward, you could just see him sort of lean back with them. If one of them carried out the ball, he covered their space as well. And he too made forays into the box as well. It was like our two midfielders, Sarr and Maddison, were just camped on the edge of their box. You know, Destiny commentators even alluded to that as well. Every time Son came inside, you could see Destiny peeling off left. You know, the first half, I'm seeing a comment, Meta Football TV, hey, hi, Meta Football. The first half, much better second half. It was flat, but it wasn't as flat as it was in the previous games. There was actually movement. There was actually a lot of stuff happening. It just the fact that it didn't come off as well as it did, and chances weren't taken the way they should have been taken. There were a couple of half chances there that I didn't see in the previous games in the first half. This first half, for me, this is the most encouraging first half of all the preseason games I've seen, where it had sort of like supposedly the first 11 or the foundation of a first 11. I think that will take into the season. And in my opinion, I thought they were really good. I thought they were awesome, like compared to the other first halves. And then second half they built on it, but the first half there were chances. I thought James Maddison had a very good first half. I thought he was bubbling, and then for him to shift the ball one side to the other after being put through, and then win that penalty, I thought that was brilliant. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think about Madison's performance first half?
The joys of technology, right? I think one of the things I found to be really, really good in the first half was the fact that we were very strong in the press. We didn't allow any transition to take place at all, right? And it was quite a good interchange between all the front of the front. But I saw this move, and I saw it almost like you had Udogie almost like in the middle of the park, in the middle of the field, you know. So that sort of created that big, what's my call, lack of space for anything to happen from the counter press perspective from Shakhtar, and I found that he. There was one point when he was playing very close to Maddison. I think to myself, what's he doing there? you know. Now, but that what struck me in the match was the way Udogie and Emerson did that inverted role so well throughout the whole match. You know, they kind of choked up all the space and complemented the midfield in such an impressive way. So for me, it was such a good performance. I mean, the first few minutes had us. Okay, we were pressing at the point when they kind of broke up at some point, and Vicario had to come out and actually sort of intervene because there was a slight mix-up between him and I think it was Romero or something, you know. So he had to give away a corner at that point in the match. But I found that to be really, really interesting. I'm getting some really, really interesting comments. Let me just say this to people viewing us from home or wherever they're viewing us. Let us know where you're viewing us from. If you put your name as well on the comments, that would help a great deal. Meta Football, thank you so much for joining us. I know we were meant to have a broadcast with you, but unfortunately you had those personal circumstances. Again, we commiserate with you, and yes, we wish you very, very well. Now, someone saying you, who's saying we should have had we should not have had Kane on the, why is he playing, But the truth of the matter that no one knows that he's actually leaving. I mean, it's all speculation at this point in time. And as far as, I mean, if for me, if he was leaving, I'm sure that, I mean, he wouldn't have played. That's me. But I don't know. I don't know the truth of this thing. What do you think, Chuma?
Well, I think I give credit to Postecoglou in the sense that he's playing who he thinks is staying, or how he thinks he's going to line up against Brentford come next weekend. And in my opinion, Harry Kane is not leaving. This is what the manager feels. So the manager is free to field whoever he wants to. So I don't know if the comment is, if Kane is leaving, why is he playing? Meaning, like, what do we owe him the favor of, like, saving him for the medical for whoever he's supposed to go to? I don't think so. He's contracted player at Tottenham. He's a senior player. He is the captain in the absence of Hugo Lloris. So I don't understand why he shouldn't play. Shakhtar had some academy players on the field in the second half. Well, that could be fair enough, but I think the argument today was, we wanted to see players play 90 minutes. So I think the way Ange planned the preseason was 45 minutes, then 90 minutes, another set of guys 90 minutes as well. It was good to see Dane Scarlett get some minutes. He finished well, but I see other channels saying he's no good, he's 19, and the fan base are, well, you know what? I think I wrote it in some other channel as well that Dane Scarlett fits the profile. He's a young guy, he can run, he can harry, and everything else. And the boy, as you've seen from today, what a wonderful turn and finish. He controlled the ball behind himself to turn around and shoot and be accurate and score. It tells you everything you need to know. You don't need to argue with them. They've seen the proof. As we say in Nigeria, he's shown working. That was it. One chance, one major chance, one goal. That was it. That's all you need to know. And that was an impressive finish.
Well, this is it. So, I mean, as a striker, you don't get that many chances. The chance you get, you put it away. You couldn't ask for more than that. And how old is he? 19. He's still learning his craft. He comes on against the top European team and scores a really, really well taken goal. I mean, you can't ask for more, And I mean, I don't know if he's right-footed or left-footed, but it seemed to me he controlled with his right foot and finished with his left, which it's like that is so confusing for defenders, because you don't know which is which. Now, where do we even take this match from? So let's start with the fact that Ange set up in the first place, how he set up the team. Now, all the other matches we've played in the preseason so far, he's had what you might call like a game of two halves, right? In the first half, you play one team, and the second half, he sort of replaces everybody in the second half. But he hasn't done that on this occasion. So, which leads people to speculate that perhaps this is what he would have as his potential first team going forward. Given the fact that he didn't sort of make any changes until very late in the match. I think he made changes around the 70th minute or so before Lo Celso and Solomon came on. I thought when I didn't see Solomon until late in the match, I was thinking to myself, I think Ange must have read our headline for this match and thought, I'm gonna mess you guys up, and not have you guys as the Manor Solomon derby in the end, But thankfully he came on and he made an immediate impact, But let's look at the first half, for instance, right? So Maddison created the first goal with the chance that he sort of if he made the penalty and Kane put it away very nicely. Keeper went the right way, but he couldn't save it, and that was really, really good. I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, it was. So there's you and I, we spoke about the moves that they've been making in training. We watched some of the training videos. So it's always the same move where 1-2, somebody goes wide, crosses the ball, and in one time finish. So if you watch the game, you could see they were trying to do that every time they were out wide, unless Shakhtar blocked the opportunity to go wide to cross. So I think it was a 1-2 with Son, and then instead of trying to cross, he moved it towards his left, but because he's two-footed, or at least he's good enough with both feet, he shifted it to his right leg, but the defender tried to close off any potential cross or him cutting in left, and the defender took his body. So that was really, it's intelligent. It's what you see that James Maddison brings to you is a guy who can shift from right to left. He can cross it to his left. He can cross it to his right. Um, and the defender really doesn't know what he's going to do. And it's a quality I think certain Spurs players have. Kulusevski, to a point, has that as well. He's not as good with his right, but he's okay with his right. Better with his left. He's always going to his left. But once in a while, Kulusevski also does the same thing. But James Maddison, in that moment, it was just quick thinking, and that's a wonderful penalty. He'll probably get the same thing for free kicks as well, shifting right to left, confusing his marker, and wriggling to it. I thought James Madison had a fabulous game today, and there was a couple of nutmegs, there was some drop of the shoulder dribbles. I was like, yes, this guy is on it. He's on it, and he's passing outside of the foot pass. The cross, of course, for Kane's other goal, which we'll get to as well. But the first one, penalty, only one person going to take that penalty. The Hurricane goal.
Indeed, indeed. Now, True One African says, can't wait for the real McCoy, right? This is just the appetizer. Correct. I mean, can't even argue with that, we've
Hey,
had,
true born African.
absolutely, we've had a real good, I mean, preseason so far. And for me, what I found satisfying, for one of the better expression for this match, is the fact that this is our first, what you might call, maybe top flight opposition, if you like. People will be saying, okay, you need to sort of play more, better teams, right? And obviously, Shakhtar Donetsk they're not pushovers by any stretch of the imagination. And they came in, but we kept them at bay. That's the key. We kept them at bay throughout the entire match, which I found really, 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 really good. Now, Meta Football says that, what did he say? Hold on one second, we'll find out what Meta Football is saying. He says, first half, I saw Dubious playing, albeit better than the other matches. Second half, better offering, movement to create passes and spaces and occasions. The handbrakes came off. Right. Okay. Fair enough. I mean, what do you reckon, Juma?
Well, I like what he said. It's kind of like, it's almost a throwback to the Antonio Conte season where it's like, oh, first half, second half, Tottenham. But I thought they played well. I think it's a case of getting used to certain things. And the second half, they'd understood each other more as a unit. I think the real problem why I think a lot of people are calling for us to play more games is so they can get used to playing with each other as a unit, as opposed to, I'm not saying they didn't know each other, but in a match situation, there are certain things you'd expect from someone. By the second half, everybody knew where they were supposed to be positioned, what they're supposed to be doing. So yeah, I can agree to a point that the first half wasn't as spectacular as the second. But I believe there were chances in that first half that I wrote a post, I think, to someone that, look, I love Pape Matissar, but let's just say he played Lo Celso or Bentancur with Maddison. That those chances falling to, let's say, Bentancur or, in my opinion, Lo Celso with his left foot, Lo Celso is burying that. He's burying that way better than Pape Matissar would have. So the options are there. It's just we watched today just to see how he could get things going, and playing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I wasn't really, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't concerned about the scoreline. I wasn't really concerned. I didn't care about the scoreline. I still said it would be good to win. It would be good to get a clean sheet, but I don't really mind because throughout the preseason, no one's really come out with clean sheets. You want them to make their mistakes now. And also, if we're looking at the bad side of everything else, it's we were susceptible to balls over the high line, and they knew it. They could see that we were so, like, our center backs were in the were in the center circle for like most of the game. So as soon as there's a ball over them, or if they try to press in, they play that ball over. You'd end up having someone like Emerson chasing back, and it just didn't make any sense. Like we were caught out, and then allowing crosses. The problem with us is we've conceded goals from allowing crosses. This has been our issue in preseason. It's something I think that will be of concern to Ange as well. Is I watched that game and I think Kulusevski let his man cross. That was an issue I had. I text you earlier. I was like, "Cool, he's annoying me,"
Yeah,
and I'm a
I
Kulu
remember
fan.
you saying. I remember you saying and saying offline that you felt that that first goal, well, a goal from Shakhtar, should not have come about if Kulusevski had been a lot closer to that player to prevent him from getting the cross in. And you says that what I mean is I hope Ange wasn't told he had to play Kane if he's leaving. Well, fair enough. I mean, who knows this thing? You know,
Okay,
the
that's
truth
fair.
of matters
That's
that
fair.
I mean,
That's fair.
yeah, you know what's so that's really we don't really know. But I mean, Meta Football. Thank you for your contribution. You've said that Romero's wrong ball to Sonny just before his first goal was beautiful. Just before the first goal,
Of
remember?
course,
I
yeah.
don't know if you remember that. I mean, we had some really good interplay. I mean, from the back, and I mean that long ball to Sonny was just absolutely incredible. I mean, right. So thank you so much for the comments. Keep them coming in. We love you. Thank you so much. We're having so many comments. Please keep them coming. Right. Chuma, you want to take this one?
Oh yeah. So you put down the comment. I heard we were going to try and use the academy boys, Scarlett, Divine, and others, and they need to get minutes. But we brought the young Argentinian lad, I think. So when he comes, Scarlett won't get his chance. Yeah, I think in one of the previous shows, I mentioned I think Dean Scarlett is going to go out on loan again. I think he's going to go out on loan again. I think Troy Parrott would probably get sold, but I think Divine will be the one that stays. I think Divine will get a chance with the team. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it also depends on if Hoiberg stays or if Hoiberg goes. But I think Divine will get his chance. But I think Scarlett is going to go out on loan, and I wouldn't mind Scarlett going out on loan, knowing we have a manager like Ange Postecoglou, because Ange doesn't. In my opinion, anyway, I think Ange is someone that looks at your application, how dedicated you are, and your impact. And yes, this young boy, he's just put him for how many minutes, and he scored a goal. He's already told him this boy has a chip on his shoulder. This boy wants to play. So let's see what happens. But I think he's going to go out on loan. I think the Argentinian boy, who has more experience than Dane Scarlett in the big leagues anyway, or professional football, I think he gets a chance ahead of Dane Scarlett. But I wouldn't be surprised. I just think there are lots of positions up for grabs. There are loads of permutations. But Dane Scarlett is one I think we're not going to sell Dane Scarlett. I think Dane Scarlett is one of those guys that if he goes out on loan, it's going out with a promise from Ange that you know he's going to come back and compete for a place. Hopefully next season. But I really really liked his goal, and I think if we move to the second half now, that cross from Maddison to Kane, I put it on the plate for Kane. It was just class.
James Maddison was class, according to you earlier on. That. Yeah, I totally agree. Eric, thank you so much. I mean, keep it going, guys. Good show. Thank you so much. I appreciate your comments. Keep those comments coming in. We'll highlight them as we get them in. So yes, please keep doing that. Thank you so much. You says also that remember when Ozzy was the manager? Yes.
Who can forget?
Absolutely. Then he also goes on to say that it will be good to see, interesting to see how we play against Barca. The two teams that like to keep the ball. That would be interesting. Absolutely. Now, Ange doesn't have the players to implement his style yet. That's interesting. That's an interesting perspective, Brian Harkin. Brian, what do you? I mean, what do you agree with Brian? Chuma.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. If you mean he doesn't have the players to fully implement his style, I agree with that because um, we have Destiny, who's a wing back, essentially learning how to be an inverted fullback. Emerson, who is a fullback, also playing inverted, but he played fullback in a position where, when he played fullback in all his previous clubs, he never had to invert into midfield. He was playing it strictly as a fullback. So these are not ready-made players for Ange's system. So Brian, yeah, Brian, you do have a point there. They're not ready-made for him, but in terms of, I think, our midfield and the players we bought now, like Mickey van der Ven, does his medical, gets in. He's a pacey centre back, which is what Ange has always had, a pacey centre back and one centre back who is comfortable on the ball. So you've got that already in Romero. you just alluded to the pass that he made, the crossfield pass. I mean, meta football, you know, it's just that crossfield pass. And that crossfield pass was done by a defender who knows how to use the ball. And just always had one guy can use the ball, one guy who's pacey and can probably head better. The aerial part, I think, is a point where we suffer in centre backs. But in terms of the rest of the squad, you know, I have my reservations about Kulusevski playing that winger position. I really do. And someone pointed it out, I think, in one of the things that he didn't think we should have signed Kulusevski on a full contract. We should have used that money to go and look for a world class winger. I think he can play, but I think it's the getting used to playing that thing because I think the tendency to cut in on his left foot. We've seen great players like, you know, we've all seen Ian Robin. Everybody knows Robin is going to that left foot from the right wing. Everybody knows. But it's the speed at which he does it and everything else that cuts it.
Yeah, thanks very much, Truborn Africa. And say you can't stop picking up Sochi and Truman. Your dedication and passion is after this whole top-notch analysis as usual. Respect. Respect back to you. Thank you so much. Now, I mean, you mentioned something earlier on, which is about that intricate play that we had. I mean, the box with Kulusevski. Everyone knows that he's going to call up to his left foot. I think the same thing led to the goal. If you have a look, the penalty when Maddison cut back from the left on his left foot onto his right foot, and then the defender went through him. Right. I get that distinct feeling that this season we might have a lot of penalties from situations like that because we're doing a lot of play in the opposition box. You know, and I suspect that we're going to have plenty of opportunities being created that way this season. Brian Harkin, thank you so much again. Said it wasn't flowing because no overlapping fullbacks. They weren't occupying the right positions on the attack or moving into the right spaces. What do you reckon with that one? Because I thought they kind of were playing to instructions in the sense that they had sort of how do I put this now? Make life difficult for the opposition, if you like, you know. And because of that, I mean, it just meant that we just had to play in the way that we were playing, which is, I mean, because what they were trying to invert, you couldn't all go out all the way except you had the situation, the opportunity presented itself. What do you think?
Well, I understand what Brian is trying to say there, but however, if you noticed at the game, both Kulusevski and Son were very wide. So in the occasion where you have the two wingers very wide, the fullbacks don't have to overlap; they more underlap. They come inside, and you already said it yourself. The number of times you saw Destiny edge of the box, you know, especially the first half, there's that chance King put through that he didn't really want to shoot that he ended up crossing. The same thing too with Emerson. Emerson was edge of box and all. It's because Kulu was very wide, Kulusevski was very wide, Son was very wide, and then Son would come in a bit, but Son really was very disciplined in staying wide, trying to get his man on the one-on-one, you know, a lot. And then as soon as he cuts inside, someone else makes a run past him. Maddison did that for the penalty. Destiny was trying to do that several times. So yes, I understand what Brian is saying about the fact. I thought they took up the positions that Ange planned. This was the whole thing of. I think Shakhtar create a lot in the middle. Shakhtar very good creating centrally. That's most of their football. Most of their coaches were into that. De Zerbi, Paulo Fonseca. I think this new coach. The Dutchman, Van Looy, I think Van Looy, he does the exact same thing. He builds through the center. So you make your center strong. So the fullbacks didn't have to be wide. But you saw Emerson make some runs out wide a few times. You saw Destiny make some runs out wide. It's just that we wanted to contain them centrally so they wouldn't create from the center and we would control the entire middle as well, which we did. So you're not your mic.
Yeah, Brian Harkin says Ange will rotate his team a lot this season, and I was going to say that earlier on. Which thanks for that, Brian. Because if you look at the team that played today, I mean, I thought there were quite a lot of players that were missing. We didn't have Bissouma, we didn't have Lo Celso until late in the second half. You know, Richarlison didn't play any part at all. You know, and Manor Solomon came in and had an impact in the second half, which was good. But for me, it tells us about the depth in the squad. In a sense, we still have people like I hear Van der Van was in the stadium. Van der Van was in the stadium today to see the match.
He was.
So there's plenty to sort of optimism to look forward to for the rest of the season. And yeah, Brian also says that, I mean, what he was referring to in our analysis about was the fact that, how did he put it, that they weren't making the runs at the right time. I think some of those runs, you could see that they were going to attempt to make them in some instances, but they just felt like, okay, maybe wait and not, it's almost like a timing thing. If you don't make the one at the right time, you sort of say, okay, fine, let's hold on this occasion, and then hopefully you make it in the future. Well, that's what. Thank you so much for all the comments. I really, really appreciate this. And I mean, this is the whole idea of this episodes of us that we try and go like, we want to involve everyone in the conversation. Thank you so much again. You want to take this, Chuma?
I'll also say to Brian, you're very right. I think the whole point of this season, especially the fact that we're not playing in Europe, gives us more training time. The movements aren't automatic. Like you said, it doesn't flow. And the whole point of creating a new system and getting better in it is to create flow. So it's going to take time. We've seen it now. It's really going to take time. It's not going to get, but the fact is that the fundamentals are being instilled in the players. They know they have to make those runs. They don't know how to time them well as of yet, but it's building. And the fact that you can still create a positive result, not knowing how to fully integrate the system into yourselves is a very good sign. So you says Ange relies on keeping the ball and winning it back quickly. We will be vulnerable for the ball over the top, yes, but the keeper is supposed to rush out as well because the defenders are up the field. Yes, there was a slight hesitation by Vicario. There was a ball over the top once, and the guy had to run on him, and then he spread himself and he conceded a corner, but he was caught in two minds, which tells you that even the goalkeepers as well are trying to get used to Angeball as well. So it's a process that everybody else is thing. But in terms of winning the ball back, I loved seeing that. As soon as they got the ball, you saw 2-3 players converge on the one guy to collect the ball. And then there's something else I actually enjoyed, and I think I saw it a lot more in the second half, was we were not afraid to play the ball into the center from defense. Like we went, usually first half is one center back passes to the other, you pass to the fullback passes back. But at some point in the second half, you could see them like trying to play directly to the defensive midfield player or any midfield player. 1-2, whoever is facing forward now played forward. And I didn't see that in the first half, but in the second half, I saw them trying to play vertically through the back, just going straight through the middle. I'm not saying Brighton, but something like that. Brian's a Celtic fan. Hey, welcome, Brian. Nice. Sorry, your mic was
So
not
sorry. Yeah, I said
technology.
Brian says he's a Celtic fan, and so he's seen the progress that Ange made with Celtic. So I mean, clearly he knows that all of these things will evolve over time. And I mean, nice. which is a fact. Thank you for your contribution. You says that Ange said afterwards on Spurs play that he will give the other guys a run out against Barcelona, which is what we're looking for as well. So yeah, let's see what the other guys do. Bissouma, we didn't get a chance to see. What's the word? I'm not sure a lot of people want to see Dyer, but hey, but that's I don't mean that in a disrespectful way, but I mean I think hopefully by then, I mean I'm pretty sure that we'll have signed the new centre back. The young man signed on for us Ashley Phillips.
Ashley Phillips.
Yeah, so that's a new addition. I mean, I'm not sure it's going to constitute in the first team, but let's see how that goes. Yeah, so keep the comments coming in. This is Come On You Spurs TV. We'd love to have you. Thank you so much. And Ange, I think I said Ange. The fans need to expect some mistakes, right? So if they happen, we need to encourage the players and not abuse them, which is very true. Yeah, you're very right.
Agreed. Like I said, I said I was disappointed with Kulusevski because I thought he should have cut that out. I think in this period where they're learning or they're trying to incorporate the Ange's methods, Angeball, there are certain things that we saw in the first couple of games, and I think they should have gone through that with video analysis where don't allow the crosses come in. Don't allow anybody get across you in front of your goalkeeper. But these things will happen because it's football. But it's also for me, I think, once you concede, it's the same thing I think they say about defeat. We know who you are after the defeat, because after defeat, what do you guys do next? Do you come back? After we conceded our goal, first half ended, they're like, okay, 1-1. How do we start the second half? And we started the second half on double front foot from what we were in the first. We upped the ante, so to speak. And I thought, and I saw better play. Once again, I saw a better play even from Kulusevski. Kulusevski was still coming in, but then he created that third goal where he feinted to shoot, and he just nutmeg assist to Kane. One touch to hold the ball in place, one touch to score. Typical Harry Kane, and that was really really good. And then Manor Solomon came on, and I think Manor Solomon coming on, I really, as soon as he came on, I was texting Klaus, and I said to Klaus that, yeah, if he comes on, this guy he's going to want to score against his team, and he's going to want to hustle harder than Son. And honestly, I think, without hyping him up to the heavens or anything else, I think Manor Solomon is going to be such a good addition to the side. It more or less like an underdog, dark horse kind of player that nobody's really thinking this guy could really do much for Spurs. He just comes in. But I watched him and he gets the ball. His first instinct is, I'm taking on my man and I'm going to beat him, or I'm going to do something. And you saw it as soon as he got that ball. I think Lo Celso spread it out to him. His first instinct, one touch, get past the guy, take that shot. Shot spilled. Harry Kane, Harry Kane, should he stay? The argument is on: is he going to go? Is he going to stay? My goodness, if he could score 31 goals playing what we were last year, I don't know how many goals he could get doing this. This is going to be a whole different ball game for someone like him, someone as experienced as him. So he kept dropping deep. But my goodness, when he was in the box, we were just he was on the plate. It got to a point where at one period we had a chance. I don't know if you remember the chance where two or three guys could have scored. They just kept on scoring to each other and nobody took the shot. And I was like, oh, come on, guys. One of you do this thing and it would have been a goal. But it was just every single one of them had a chance to score. Something we haven't seen.
Thing about today's match was the fact that we kept creating chances, so many chances over the course of the match, and there was chance upon chance upon chance, and it was just really, really good to see. And one of the things we also sort of saw was Ange's front foot football in close quarters at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I mean, I'm thinking to myself what that would look like in a match day, what you might call competitive match day situation. I mean, that was, I think for me, it was really pleasing to see anyway. I don't know about you.
32 shots on goal,
There you go.
20 shots on target, 94% pass completion, 732 passes made. If we're going by last season,
enough said, eh?
yes. And the comment coming in from you, I subscribe to your comment. They need to get the youth system playing the exact same way instead of putting the youngsters on loan. I actually think that the thing I've heard about Ange Postecoglou is he likes to work with the academies and all the age groups, and even possibly, let's say, even the women's team. He wants everybody to more or less adopt his kind of style and his mentality and his mindset. So let's look forward to that. I think we stay tuned to that and see if Tottenham start playing the same way with our under 23s, under 21s, under 18s, under 16s. I think they will. And my goodness, it will be such a good thing for the entire club to be on the same wavelength, so you could easily move people on to the team, and with the pathway to the first team becoming much clearer. Yeah, I think so. I'll still send them out on loan because I don't think there's a point for someone like Dean Scarlett to score 50 goals in the under 21s. And he's like, yeah, you scored 50 goals there, but if you face proper opposition, like when he went on loan to Portsmouth last year, he started off really well. And I think they changed managers, so that affected him. But also the style was a bit more physical than he was used to. He stood up well to it. He didn't get as many chances, but it helped him. So it is. Brian, Andrew want to play the ball quicker across the field. Yes, Brian. Yes, yes. There were times when I thought they slowed it down, and I was like, it's like they were thinking. you want it to be automatic and quick transition. Yes, I agree with that, Brian. Yes, Andrew also was ball quicker. You could see that with Celtic as well. Celtic played really one touch, two touch, one touch, two touch. But I think talking about building to that, this is literally the first time majority of our players have played 90 minutes in this preseason. So it's a work in progress.
Absolutely, and it was really really good to see. Like I said to you, I mean, one of the key highlights for me was I know you had this Kulusevski having a go at him in the first half for not closing down and let the cross come in. But I thought he performed really well today. I mean, he gave a really good account of himself. I mean, he was creating chances, and he was every time he had the ball, he just made life difficult for the opponents, and that was so good to see. I mean, what did you think?
Yeah, no, the reason it's like, like when you have a player you really like, and for you, he's not doing exactly what you want him to do. Maybe this is the computer game mentality of most people. Like computer game, out skin the player with Kulusevski or something, and I expect the real life guy. I felt he kept checking back in the first half. I thought Kulusevski was checking back a bit too much, and then I felt he was too predictable as well. But by the second half, I think he just said, you know what, let me have a go. There's a difference in his performance first half and second half. Second half, you saw him having a go more. You saw him getting across his man and getting into the box. I think when he's in and around the box, Kulusevski is a very dangerous guy. But if you can get him to check back and pass backwards, you can contain him that way. The guy contained him a bit better in the first half, and he was trying too hard maybe as well. But by the second half, he started developing a flow, and it came more natural to him. And then also the way Spurs were playing, there was the danger of that crossfield pass to him or crossfield pass to Son. In the first half, I think there were more crossfield passes to Son, but all of a sudden, come that second half, I don't know if you observed it. There were like several times where we're concentrating on the left wing. All of a sudden, someone just swings it, and Kulusevski is one on one with his fullback. He now just needs runners, and I think I think it was Lo Celso came on, and Lo Celso but I thought Lo Celso did well. He didn't do great, but he did well, and he was involved in like more or less what we call it, the hockey assist, the assist before the assist to Manor Solomon, who had a shot spilled for Kane. So Lo Celso came on, but he couldn't get into the groove of it as much as he did, but he had some tidy passes. But for me, Maddison to me, I felt was really, especially in the second half, he was a live wire. Like even in the first half, there was this chance where he literally tried to dribble his way through, and I was saying, "Oh my God, if he could just let this shot go, it would be a Maradona kind of goal." Like not saying he's Maradona, but like just a Maradona goal. He just weaved his way, and I was like, this guy is a very tricky guy. Someone wrote to me, I think it was Klaus saying, I didn't know he could dribble like this. And I said, oh, he's been dribbling for a while. He's enjoying it. He's enjoying the atmosphere. You could see that. So like he was building Maddison.
Let's look at some key moments in the match, and of course we started with them opening up Shakhtar from the get go. We had the chance from Kane, we had the awful rough from Kulusevski, from Emerson, and Emerson getting himself into good positions, right? I also found that some points in the match when Romero showed the kind of player that he is. He has this ability to read the game so well, and especially in the counter press, whenever we lose the ball and the try and prevent the turnover, it closed them down so very, very quickly. And I found that to be really, really, really good. Let's sort of look at this key moment in the game alongside what I call players as well. Let's sort of take each player one by one, and then we'll sort of see how well they perform and sort of rate them, if you like. And listen, guys at home, please, thank you for all the comments we've been having so far. Really appreciate them. If you have any more comments, please, join the conversation and let's have your comments and thoughts. We'll broadcast them and share them with everyone. Yeah. And if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, which we haven't talked about over the course of the broadcast, by all means, please let's have them as well. Right. Let's start with the goalkeeper. I mean, Vicario didn't have much to do today, right? But I think at times he was called upon. in the match to sort of do anything. He did a fantastic job and made 2 saves. I think towards the end of the game. I think at some point at the beginning of the game, or during the first half, there was that point when it was like 2 minds, and had to come out and close down the opposition or stay back. But it was caught within 2 minds. But at least what he did was to prevent the ball from coming across. So he did well when it was called upon to act. So yeah, please, but yeah, by all means, I would love to hear from you. Chuma, what did you reckon?
Yeah, I thought he acquitted himself very well today, as opposed to the previous games. Once again, it's similar to the other games. I didn't think he stood a chance against the goal. I don't think he stood a chance because once that ball came in, the player had already gotten across his defender. It was just straight up. All he could do was make himself big. But the first chance, yes, we spoke about that before, where it sort of fell on him to come out and sort of clear that ball, but he was caught in 2 minds. But even though he was caught in 2 minds, he didn't expose his goal because I felt that player was going to try and go near post to score, and he spread himself so well. He conceded the corner, and he had that. There was a shot on goal that was like, yeah, you're like, bam, very good shot, and he just palmed it over. Same as their goalkeeper did as well with Sa in the first half as well. So I thought he was quite good without being too disturbed. He was also very good at passing the ball out. He also did the same thing as well, where he had the chance to pass out to centre backs, but sometimes he was going through the middle, and I liked that. And I thought that was a really that was showing his confidence in his defenders and his teammates. So
Isn't that interesting? You see into perspectives from this, right? So you have you saying Kulu was causing problems in the second half, like you said. Let's hope he doesn't pick up an injury. And then we have Meta Football TV. Meta Chris goes Kulu too irregular. If he's confident, he'll bust the wing, but it's a big if. However, he's too predictable for my liking.
there you go.
So there you go. So I mean, I guess that's the real thing. So sometimes some players have this ability to be predictable. But at the same time, even though you know what they're going to do, you can't do anything about it. So I think it's one of those players. So that if it comes off, there's really not much you can do about it because he will still get past you. So I think that's one positive that we could take from Kulusevski from his play. Sarr took his effort in the box well, and it's a shame the keeper saved it. Yeah, like we said earlier on, if he'd had it a few feet to the left or right of the goalkeeper, I mean that was those were good chances for him to put away. At one point when we had the opportunity to, I think Kulusevski tried to deceive the keeper, if you like, by feigning as if he was going to pass house.
Yeah, with the eyes. Yeah. He does that. Like, he did that. He did that against Leeds in his first season, if you remember. He showed the keeper the eyes. I'm going far post, and then he just cuts him. He whips it, but the keeper was wise to it. So.
Yeah, but then Sa headed wide while trying to, turn it across into goal. Yeah, so I mean, we don't Vicarios. Now let's look at the Poro. I mean, what's that Poro? Emerson. I thought Emerson did a great job today. I mean, I couldn't even fault him any because there's one point which sort of struck me in the whole match. I mean, it wasn't anything fantastic, but what happened was that we lost the ball and there was a bit of transition, right? And I think the camera panned to him, right? And he didn't rush in. The first thing he did was to look around him and see where he was in relation to the attack and in relation to his guys. So what he did was to just keep them in that position until he had reinforcement. For me, that epitomized his play throughout the whole match. The times he had to go in, he went in strong. He collected the ball. He didn't lose the ball. He didn't create any negative performance today for me. I thought he did absolutely fantastic. What do you reckon?
So I wouldn't disagree with the fact that he did well. There was a point I think where he had a shot that he should have taken a shot on goal where the ball fell to him, and I was like, "Come on!" I was like, "Emerson, come on! We've gotten to this point now where you should realize you should be taking this now. Like you really should." That was the first half, but I can let that go. Then there was another opportunity where I felt if he had put in a cross early. No. I know. If you had put in a cross early, but All I wrote down on the group, I seriously said, I wrote it down. Spurs need to buy another fullback, and it's no disrespect to him. It's no disrespect to him and Poro, but there are right backs in the market I think we could buy that could make Ange's system work better. But I want to see Ange work with them for the season and see where it goes. He played well. He's very comfortable in this midfield thing because it stops him being a defender and stops him being an attacker. He's just in it's sort of like a wonderful mid situation where he doesn't expose his weaknesses, but it doesn't show many strengths he has. His strengths are his physicality. So I think where he is suits him because he can be physically impressive. But in terms of technical ability, I don't think he's technically. Not for a Brazilian, but he's just not technically. There's some things I would have expected him to do. He didn't do today, but he's just very good and very tidy. And like I said, you can never question his work ethic. And it's something else I've always said. If you have a smart guy and you have a hardworking guy, the hardworking guy could outperform the smart guy anytime. So that's why I look at Emerson. I'm like, he's not as technical as I want him to be. He's not a Cancelo or anything, but he does work. He works well. That's it.
Absolutely, yeah. So I mean, I think someone said you also said that another thing like was that Ange said he wasn't happy with the fact that the players slacked off a bit towards the end of the first half. But I guess if you're so intense in the course of your game, you kind of I guess this is preseason, so maybe they're still trying to get the fitness back. So one of the things we're seeing is intensity of Ange's team, right? In terms of how they keep going, throughout the whole match. I mean, I didn't see them slack off. I mean, someone said Ange was surprised that they slacked off in the first hour. Really? Did they slack off? Really? But hey, he's the
No, but
coach.
I think he's right. I think he's right. They did. They did. The intensity dropped at certain points in the game. I'm like, keep attacking, keep attacking. But they're learning. They will learn. I could almost feel I heard him shouting, keep going. So
Yeah, and I heard him. I mean, some of the points in the match was saying pass, 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 pass. Like kept keep the intensity going and keep the opposition walking, which was very good.
I like that comment from you. Exactly. The no look pass when he could have just taken the shot. That was it. Even the commentator said it.
I saw that. That was really. Yeah, commentator said that as well. Yeah, that was really really good.
That was nuts. Yeah.
David, do form, David. Oh gosh, Poro. I'm on a group where someone has this. Is like Poro is the best since sliced bread. As in, but, I mean, I think Poro will come good. I think depending on what sort of system Poro, I mean, he wants to play. So what I have now is, for me, I love the way the things are shaping up in relation to how Ange wants to play, and giving us that front foot football is showing us already that, look, if you press your opposition enough, okay, you might concede the odd goal here and there, but you score so many goals, and it's shown that today. And come on, 5 goals, and we could have scored more. That's the thing. 5 goals
30 shots on goal. 32
and
shots
30
on goal.
shots on goal. I mean, and not against shabby opposition as well. So I mean, bring it on.
No, I like what you said about, so Poro is defensively poor, but you have to look at players like, I'll say, you look at players like Zinchenko, you look at players like João Cancelo. João Cancelo is not a very good defender, but what he's good at is inverting into midfield and bringing that ball forward and creating. I think you have to put Poro. But what I think Brian made the point as well that Ange is going to keep rotating his squad. I saw a brilliant piece. I think it was our friend from Invert the Wing. He wrote there that he thinks Ben Davies will go into left back, and he'll be the left back when we play teams that are very good on transition and counter attack. like Manchester United, that you'd have him instead of having Destiny there, because Destiny is way better going forward, probably staying in midfield, being a lot more physical than Davies could be. But when it comes to pure defending, I don't know if you saw the bit where Davies fell on the ground and he still headed the ball to, and I looked at that and I said to myself, that
Yeah.
is a man that does not want to concede possession.
Yeah.
None of those young boys will do that. He knows that ball, it has to get to my guy. I've fallen on the ground. I will head the ball up. He put his head where other people's feet were. That is a defensive player. So
We'll come to Destiny in a minute, because I thought Destiny performed really well, and I'll tell you why in a minute, and we'll come to that. But the right side of this, we've done Emerson, we've done Vicario. Now, Romero. Romero, for me, is a beast of a player, and I love him for so many reasons. I love the fact that he can read the game. He's very strong in the tackle. He's very effective. He knows when to close things down, and he knows how to put fear in the opposition's lead player, if you like. He will clatter him, rough him up, enough to maybe not necessarily concede a yellow card, but you know that he has this yellow card waiting to, he always picks up a card.
Which did happen.
Yeah, which did happen. So today I'm thinking to myself, Romero, come on, this is a friendly, come on, but he still managed to pick up a yellow card, but that's his nature. He's fiery, but I think he's been controlled so far throughout this preseason. I love how he played game today. I mean, I don't know what you guys think. What do you think?
Well, I think his passing ability is very underrated. And in this game today, you saw he put in some really good passes. The highlight of which was the crossfield pass to Son that led to the penalty. But then there was another one he played in the first half that Kulusevski didn't take advantage of, where he was literally on the same thing and he just chipped it over them for Kulusevski, chipped it into space. And I thought I was like, this guy, his ball playing ability is awesome. So are you seeing the comments? Sorry, Cedric can't hear you. So your mic, you're mute. Apologies for the technical difficulties.
Yeah, I was saying that. Yeah, sorry about this technical thing. I mean, we're trying to sort of reduce echoes, and when that happens, I mute myself so that mics don't begin to echo. But Brian, thank you so much for informing us of the good stuff that's happening.
Brian, thank you for the
update at the Wembley Stadium. Thank you.
Yes, Brian, we're all, most Tottenham fans, at least both of us, we're Celtic fans. We're Celtic fans by association because of the gift you guys gave us in Ange. We're all Celtic fans as well now, so we're backing you guys too. Anytime you play Rangers, I'm a Celtic guy.
This is it. Thank you so much, Brian. We love you. Thank you. Well, you say is that, look, Ange knows if you have the ball, the other team can't score. Totally, absolutely. So if we've got the ball, the other team cannot simply score, which you can't run away from. And we're talking about Romero, and he goes that giving away that foul was silly, but he's great. I couldn't agree more. So yeah, it's amazing how we love the fact that we can rely on Romero. Now, Davies. Now, Davies, for me, I know that a lot of Spurs fans have some negative views about him. At the same time, there's also Spurs fans who understand his role in the team and how much of a faithful or reliable player he is, And it's for me, it's no accident that a lot of managers rate him, And if you look at all the managers I've had so far, since what? Every manager has played him, and they cannot all be wrong. For me, he's such an underrated player, and he's just, you call him the teacher's pet, don't you?
Now I'm Team Daddy Davis. I call him Daddy Davis after that young lady on Twitter. He's Daddy Davis. I'm Team Daddy Davis all day long. I liked him when he was at Swansea. I understood why Spurs bought him in 2014. I was very happy they bought him. And I thought he was a perfect counterbalance to having Danny Rose. Because while Danny Rose was this left winger, left winger that became a fullback, so he still had his left winger tendencies. Ben Davies is a defender by profession. So defenders defend, and then they go forward when they can or when they need to. But we live in a world where a lot more defenders are so hybrid now that they're like wingers and they are all flashy. But Ben Davies does what's that? You remember the what's that product for wood? Runsil. Runsil is it does what it says on the tin. Ben Davies is Runsil as a football player. It does what it says on the tin. He comes here and he defends. When he played for Poch, the season Danny Rose got injured was I think 16, 17. That's when Danny Rose started having his injury problems. People forget that Ben Davies stepped in and he played very well, and he was attacking as well. He played attacking football. He's very good at bringing the ball out. And he's better in a back three than playing as a centre back. But my goodness, it wasn't great opposition. He wasn't harried or pressed, but he brought the ball out when he had to, put his foot in when he had to. Like I said, that point where he fell on the ground and still headed the ball to, I think, Destiny or so. I was like, this guy is, Ben Davies to me is a wonderful player. He's not appreciated. He's underappreciated, I think, by the fan base. And he's one of those guys that you don't know who he is or what he is, and everyone goes, oh, he can't get into another top six side. I say you might be very surprised. You'd be very surprised if Spurs put him up for sale and someone you wouldn't expect would buy him and he would do well there, But I think filling in for centre back, I don't think he'll stay as a centre back like I was saying earlier on. I think he's going to become a left back, and him and Destiny Udogie will rotate that position. And I think he could be a very good left back inverting inside as well. I think he plays in this, like I said to you before in the previous show, he has that move where he sets his body and he plays his ball inside. Kane does the same thing when he takes a shot. He did that today several times. He brought the ball out very, very well, and he just played it inside, went back into position. He stayed on the center circle. He kept the high line, and Destiny had to run back to help him most times if the ball went over his head. So I think between the two of them, it was kind of very safe, very, very good in that first half.
Nathan King says only two players I want to see gone are Sanchez and Dyer. But I think if anything at all, probably Sanchez will probably go for sure. I'm not sure if Dyer will leave, but
I understand his sentiments regarding Dyer, because both of them are like, even though Davis is not the best left centre back in the world, he's kind of better in the position because he's left footed. Dyer is right footed. He's going to play left centre back. He's not going to play Romero's position. He's not quick enough. Sanchez is accident prone in terms of giving away the ball, and if it becomes too much, if it's a simple game, I think Sanchez is good here, but everyone knows that. And also I think his confidence has been rocked by what's been happening in the last 3 years. So I think, yeah, the two players a lot of fans would like to see go are Sanchez and Dyer. So yeah, Nathan, you're very right, but I think, like Soji is saying as well, I think Dyer stays, if nothing else, to complete his decade, and then he goes on a free next year.
I actually thought Destiny did a fantastic job today, because there's one point, in fact, there were about 2 or 3 points when he had to run back and win the ball, and he won the ball clean off, just using his position his body in such a way to between the ball and the man, and it's just so, just not the ball in such a clean way that didn't leave a foul, expose the flank, and recover the ball and pass it on to somebody very, very smoothly, and did that over and over again. And what I also found really good about him was the fact that when he had to play the inverted role, he did it really, really well, and I think he had a chance at some point when just a fraction lower, that would have been a fantastic goal, when he and Son had an interchange of passes in the first half. So I thought Destiny, I think he's going to be an absolute beast for us this season. I don't know if you guys agree. I mean, what do you think,
Yeah,
Truman?
I agree with you. I thought there was that point where Kane put him through first half, and he ended up crossing. I felt if he had leathered that ball, at the worst, the keeper would have had to punch it into a Spurs player to score. Second half, there was a time we had a sweeping move, 1-2, 1-3, and then the ball came to Son. Son touched it onto him, and he ran onto it. And I think he was just thinking about the glory. He hit that ball, like it went so high. But all in all, like you said, exactly the same thing you said. His recovery pace. I kept saying to myself, this poor winger, you know, this poor winger, the guy thinks he can outpace Destiny. It's not possible. The guy tried it several times. He would just try and run in behind Destiny, but it's at the end of the game, and this has been happening every time they've interviewed him. I'm just amazed at the fact that I didn't realize this boy was 6 feet tall or 6'1", 6'2". But when at the end of the game, when you're seeing him getting interviewed, you're like, this dude is he's a unit. He's an absolute unit, and he knows it, and he utilizes it very well on the pitch. Something else that struck me was I said, you know what? If we ever get into a cup situation, let's say we needed to rest certain players, I would not be very surprised if Ange used him as a left winger. If Ange used him as a left winger, I wouldn't be very surprised. I think, we talked a lot about Ryan Sessegnon. That's what he used to do when he was at Fulham. He was left back, left midfield, and then left winger. But I'm looking at Destiny going, it wouldn't be a bad shout for Destiny. Physically, he likes to be in and around the box. He's not scared. He's not uncomfortable being at the edge of the box. He's willing to take on that shot if he has to. And I'm thinking, there could come a point where, maybe against lesser opposition or something, and we have an injury problem or we need to rest someone. I wouldn't be surprised to see Destiny play the left wing position. But yeah, so far so good for him. He's been a uptick in every game we've seen him in so far.
And fantastic. Now, the midfield. I thought the midfield today was phenomenal in many respects. And I mean, where do we start? Do we start with Maddison? Do we start with Højbjerg? Do we start with
I think Højbjerg. I think Højbjerg because he's the holder. He's a holder. I think you start with Højbjerg.
All right, so let's start with Højbjerg. I thought Højbjerg did a marvelous job today. I mean, I'm thinking if we're going to lose Højbjerg, as the rumors suggest that we were, right? We've got to find a solid replacement for him, because he's such an engine in that area. He did a really, really good job today. I mean, I don't know what you think.
I said it at the start. I thought, playing at 6. So the thing about him that's very interesting, which I've said several times, when we first bought him, we had Mourinho, and Mourinho played a 4-2-3-1, quite defensive or quite reactive version. But that was his job. His job was destroy and give, destroy and give. And under Postecoglou now, the 6 or the defensive midfield player, he's more than just a destroyer. He's someone who recycles the ball, intercepts, recycles, tries to start things, maybe like a little bit of a playmaker. And Højbjerg is very underrated as a passer, but we've all seen things where Pierre-Emile Højbjerg puts in some wonderful passes, or he knows how to spread play at the right time. And David Clark just put in a comment that Manor Solomon will break into the side. Make no mistake, I guarantee it. I believe it. I honestly do. We'll get to Manor Solomon later on, David. But wonderful comments. But yes, I agree with that. What do you think, Sandy?
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I mean, I was going to say that. I mean, we're going to come to Manor Solomon down the line in this thing, and one of the things I loved about today's game was the fact that it showed us that we now have the makings of a good squad, of a strong squad, and options when people like Son come off or Kulusevski comes off, or Richarlison comes off. So we have so many options in that area now. So which for me, given the way that Ange sets up his team and he allows them to play front foot football, I think Manor Solomon will be an absolute star in that team. I mean, going forward, I totally agree. Now, someone says, I hope Bissouma has a good game.
Or maybe that's me.
I think one of the things of the with this technical thing is I keep having to mute my mic because but hey. Anyway,
No.
so we've had a situation whereby we have Højbjerg playing now. If Bissouma comes in and Højbjerg doesn't play, it just tells you that, I mean, can we play Bissouma and Højbjerg together depending on the games we have? I don't know. So there's so many options for the team, and it's a good place to be in. Bissouma, we really can't discuss him today because he didn't play, but it's obviously something that's some option for us to have as a team, and I mean, and he's played very well in preseason so far. So yeah, happy days,
no, indeed. Then we move on to someone else have a comment?
Yeah, continue that conversation about Bissouma. I mean, also we have David Clark saying that, what is David Clark says? That says Bissouma has been given number 8 and the captain's armband. Is that true? Okay.
well, I don't know about the captain's armband, but the number 8, yes. And maybe that's an indication that he's the starting defensive midfield. Maybe that's an indication. But I think Ange is very impressed with Bissouma. Bissouma's attitude has been first class since the start of the. In fact, I think ever since Conte left, you could see Bissouma slowly becoming himself, if I could say that. Because everyone realized that he wasn't really being deployed properly by Antonio Conte. He started from preseason, then he had his injury problems. He came back from injury problems, but towards the end of that last season, playing under Ryan Mason, you could see he was trying to get his feels back. A lot of golfers know that word, the feels, where you get your feels back into your clubs and you start to get your groove back. You could see it, and slowly building. Coming to this preseason, you're looking at him. He's in excellent physical shape. Bissouma. He's so energetic. He's so enthusiastic about joining in on everything. But Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, I think I would give him a lot of credit because, in spite of the speculation, here is a guy who is still very professional. He is still giving his all. He was intercepting some things, like he was breaking down play for. Anytime Shakhtar thought they had a sniff, you would see him coming, and he always has this thing where a player wants to turn last minute and Højbjerg just sweeps up the ball and gives it really quickly. And I thought, brilliant. He's the ultimate professional. I can never take that away from him. Sometimes I feel he annoys me. I thought he annoyed me because of the system he was playing in. But now seeing him playing under Ange, as much as I don't think he's a natural fit, I think he is still a fit. And he's still good enough to do something however Ange wants to play it. But in this thing, I think maybe Bissouma has the edge over him. And would he be happy to be a rotational player? Or would he be happy, or does he see himself as a full-on starter? That could be the issue there with Spurs as well.
Well, I guess that's the beauty of having Ange as our coach and the options that you have. I mean, going forward. So it leaves us with Maddison, Sarr. I mean, come on, those guys played a blinder today, didn't they? I mean, But let's start with Maddison, for instance, right? So I mean, Maddison, you take it away, Chuma. I mean.
What can I say? So I was growing up, or younger version of me. I was a huge fan of Joe Cole. I found out that Maddison was a Joe Cole fan, and Maddison not only idolized Joe Cole, Maddison got to play with him and was mentored by Joe Cole when Joe Cole more or less ended his career at Coventry, where Maddison was coming up as a teenager. So they got to play together. And there are elements of Joe Cole like this thing where Joe Cole, when he was younger, the younger Joe Cole before he moved to Chelsea, he was this guy that he would get the ball in an edge of the box. He's dropping shoulders, looking for a first time pass outside of the foot cross. He was very flair. The word flair. James Maddison has flair. You could say for an English guy or British player, but this translates wherever he goes. And I didn't realize that this wasn't a rumor. Apparently, Pep Guardiola tried to buy him in January. Man City were going to buy James Maddison. They wanted to, but Leicester told them they were not selling any players because of their battles and ensuing relegation. But they said Pep Guardiola was interested. And you look at the player Maddison is, and I can understand why. he's only really learning how Ange wants him to play, but you can see it's coming with every game. The first game, I thought he wasn't really that good. He wasn't really that good. He wasn't really in it, but he tried. Second game, I said, okay, yeah, we're seeing bits of Maddison. This game, it was like he came to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to show out. I'm here to show out that I am James Maddison. I am the guy, and I thought he was excellent.
Dave Clark says that he thinks that Dave, what's Dave saying? Dave saying he thinks that Perisic and Porro are better crossers of the ball than Son and Kulusevski.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yes, they are. They are. They are. David is very right. They are. He's right. But the thing is, I think Ange's system also, if you're not the crosser of the ball, you have to be good in the half space to get a chance to shoot and score. So I think therein lies the thing. Therein where Son and Kulusevski are really good, cutting into the half space, Kulu to create, Son to shoot. Son tried it once. I felt disappointed. He couldn't bend it in the way he wanted to. But yeah. David, you're right. In terms of that, Porro and Perisic, I think we'll look forward to that in the Barcelona game. We can't really talk about Perisic and Porro today, but yes, we look forward to seeing that side against Barcelona. Let's see what they can do.
All right, coming up to Sa, I mean, I'll just quickly scroll to this comment from Dave Clark. Dave says that give it 2 more seasons and Sa will be a top midfielder able to play at the highest level. I agree. I mean, I'm not even sure 2 seasons. I mean, I think 2 seasons is way too long. Given to the end of this season and the way he's playing, you can tell that he's going to be a superstar. I mean, that guy is such a good baller. I mean, he's composed, he's calm. All he just needs a little bit more is just holding his craft to be accurate in his shooting. I mean, look at the opportunities he had today, and you don't get those opportunities unless you're in the right position, right? And of course, you had the right temperaments to be able to sort of take those chances when you take. So he kept going into those right positions as well. So for me, I agree. Yes, he will be a monster. I mean, that's Turi of the future, isn't he?
And we have to. We also have to give some credit to Fabio Paratici because he got Sa. Let's give credit where credit is due. He bought him, and everyone said, "Oh, who is this little young boy? Oh, we sent him on loan to a French team. Oh, he can play well in the French league. He's not." And the boy was growing. He was growing. He's added this height a bit more since he's moved. And I personally think he's getting used to his body, and then getting used to his body playing full matches in England that is more physical.
Mm-hmm.
But my goodness, like there's a way he strides. Like even when you lose possession and the player is on the half turn, there's a way he knows to just come behind the guy, stretch his legs, and get that ball. And he doesn't get the ball and stop. He gets the ball on the run, and that to me is a wonderful technique to have. He just steals the ball. He's already in stride. And if your players are really sharp, if he could have, let's say, extremely good passing, he could literally steal a ball or, as you say, counter press, get the ball back, and create a chance. But because he's still learning his trade, he holds on to the ball. But he also breaks the lines with his runs. So you have some players who need to pass to break lines. He runs with the ball to break the line, and yeah, I don't even know what position ultimately he will end up as. That's the interesting thing because I think I'm just looking at this guy and thinking I have a guy who I can play him in 2 or 3 positions in midfield if I can. If he becomes as he becomes, not if he becomes, as he becomes. So I think we have a gem on our hands, and I think we have a very, very good manager to polish that gem, to make it shine. And I can only see good things for him. Like in a game where you're always like it's different when you say a player played terribly. You say he played so well. I wish he had scored. I wish that's where you've gotten someone you really, really like. It's like, oh wow, if only he could have crowned his performance with a goal. He was that good today. He was imperious. Really enjoyed him.
Maddison, have we talked about Maddison at all?
we did talk about Maddison. Yeah,
We have to talk about Maddison. Yes,
looking at
Dave
that,
Clark
yeah.
says he's lived in Leicester for decades, and so he knows all about Maddison. Yes, I mean he's such top player as well. That takes us to the front line. Now that front line, I think if people who know Tottenham know that our front line is always deadly anyway. We've never had any problems with our front line because Kane. I think the standard two will be Kane and Son. I mean, as in what you might call like almost like definite starters. It will then be a question of do we have Kulusevski with them, or do we have Richarlison, or But now we now have a situation whereby okay, Kane definite starter if he stays, and I think all indications are suggest that he will stay, right? Um, Obviously, in terms of him saying we really don't know what that's going to look like. I mean, given what how this season's going to sort of pan out. However, I mean, Kane is. Come on, what else do you want to say? 4 goals. I mean, look at those 4 goals he took today. I could have had more. He could have had more. I mean, we're going to sort of close it with Kane if you like, from that perspective. But let's look at what we have. I mean, you have Son on the Son played on the left hand side today, didn't he? Right, and Kulusevski on the right. Now, we haven't had Perisic play at all. We had young man play come on today for Son, Manor Solomon. Let's have a look at those two for starters. I mean, Son. I think Son played very well while he was on, but look at the impact Solomon had in the very very short time that he came on. What does that tell you? Chuma, what does that
Hello,
tell you?
yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, okay, sorry. Yeah, so Son is not a winger. It's pretty obvious he's not.
Yeah,
He's having to play on the wings and he's having to develop an understanding of what he has to do. So I think he played well. If I was going to give him a rating out of 10, I'd probably say like Son was like a 7 out of 10 at best. He put in one brilliant cross that I really loved where the ball was still in the air in the first half and he just whipped it across. And Kane gave him the thumbs up saying, I didn't know you were going to whip it across. That would have been a goal for Kane. But that's how quick Son thinks. He wanted to
yeah,
be isolated to go one on one with his defender, but it never really happened that way because they knew who he was, and he now had to dovetail more with Destiny and Madison, like Dave Clark has just pointed out as well. Madison was making his way to the left and allowing Son come inside because Son's greatest attribute, as we know, is he's a finisher, you know, and he made very good combinations. So while Son played well, I don't think the role I think he's still learning the role. I don't think it's an instant fit for him. I think it's going to take him time. And the proof in the pudding was Manor Solomon came on and you saw it. Like Manor Solomon came on and you knew he had his fullback on toast. Son was thinking all the time, like, should I come in? Should I not come in? I don't want to be greedy. And then also I think Son is also trying to avoid being greedy. There's an element of greed you should have as a winger that can score. But I think he was saying, no, no, let me set up, let me create, let me cross. There are times I felt if Son beats this guy, Son is curling that ball top corner. That was my
yeah.
mindset.
And
But
there were
Son could do
times
that
when
every time.
he combined so well with Kane that okay, they didn't come off, but you could see that
You could
understanding
see it
so
exactly.
well. And I mean, for me, I'm just happy, because I'm happy with the outcome of the match. I'm happy with how Solomon played. I'm happy with Kulusevski. For me, Kulusevski was probably the man of the match for me because of the way he created chances, but the way he sort of kept
He kept
Shakhtar
going.
on the back foot,
Yeah.
and the way he kept creating opportunities as well. Every time he got the ball, it was always like he was create an opportunity, create danger, create uncertainty in the defense, and he had an assist in the end, but for me, he was just simply unplayable. I call him Kulu unplayable.
No. Kulusevski, in my opinion, like I said to you in the start when I text you, I was disappointed because I felt you're a bit too predictable. And it's not a problem being predictable. Like I said about Robin, one of my favorite players of all time, Ian Robin. I loved Robin. Absolutely loved him. You knew what Robin was going to do, but my goodness, you couldn't stop it.
This is it,
And
exactly.
I know. We hold him as an enemy and a rival down the road, but Bukayo Saka exact same thing. You know what he's going to do, but that young man has learned how to do it quicker, you know? And that's what I look at Kulusevski. I think Kulusevski is slow because he's a very creative player, you know? And creative players like that time and space thing. But if you're playing on the wings, I think there's a way you can do it where you have to be slightly quicker. But then I look at a player like, if I would say Kulusevski would watch anybody, and I'm not saying I'm a coach to tell him to watch anybody, I think he should watch someone like Bernardo Silva of Man City, because Bernardo Silva is like him. He's left-footed, and he's also a creative midfield player that's playing out wide sometimes for um for Pep. But Bernardo is very effective. There are things he does that I think if Kulusevski did the same things, I think it would work out very well for him. But I thought Kulusevski played well, and like you said, he just kept going and going and going. And I think this 90 minutes has done him the world of good. 45 minutes was never good for him. Taking him off, bringing, no, let him play, because also we remember he didn't have much of a chance last year because of injury. So I think he's someone that the minutes will do him good, and we'll see how he goes. And then now we've come to the last person, which is, you know, Harry Kane, the Hurricane, the man of the moment. You know, 4 goals out of the five, um, drop deep sometimes. And the thing that made me laugh was I was just saying to myself, I said to my friend that he doesn't even need to drop deep. It's nice to see him drop deep and try and circulate play. But if he just stays where he is, they will feed him. And that's exactly, who else would you want in the box to cross a ball? Harry Kane. Who else do you want to be fed through with a through ball? Harry Kane. And each time it was almost like the perfect hat trick of sorts. You know, it's like 2 shots, one header, and then the penalty.
You can't ask for more, can you? Really? I mean, he came in, did the job, and went off, and I mean, then Scarlett, come on, young man, comes on, and
got booked. He was a bit rash
yes,
when he came on. I actually thought that booking. I said, oh, I hope he doesn't upset the young man. But, you know, he should still press. He was trying to be a presser in doing that. But my goodness, like Kulusevski passed to him, behind him, stops the ball with one foot, swivels on the other, and shoots it. I was like, that's
and bang,
take a bow.
I was in. That was
Take a
good,
bow.
you know.
Take a bow, son. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Good outing for Spurs.
it's like Dave Clark says, I saw Kulu sprint in training and it was rapid, you know, so he's got no excuse for not accelerating over short space instead of being
David. I like
Berbatov like.
Yeah, no, yeah. You know, maybe it could be a psychological thing. He runs very fast. I've seen him run fast with the ball for Sweden as well. But I think when he plays club football, I don't know whether it's the fact that he wants to be more creative, and I don't know, but I think it will come. Also, I think is the fact that the way we played under Antonio Conte was different. He was getting the ball on the break and usually behind whoever. It was that whole combination where Kane would drop deep, Son will be off, and two of them are running, and Kane puts it behind you, so it was easier for him. But in this case, where he has to run with a ball, I think it's kind of different. But yeah, like I said, all these are like baby steps. Baby steps. We're going to be challenged a lot. Like I said, even the Barcelona game doesn't count to me. I think regardless of what happens in Barcelona, um, I think this is like very good foundation for a good season. I don't know. I can't predict what the season would be from this game, but if all these elements stay, if Harry Kane stays and he starts, whatever happens, I think we're going to have a good season. I really think we're going to have. It was good to get our fans in to see this.
Yeah, I mean, you say so you want Kane to start every game. Well, I'm not sure it's a matter of him starting every game, but I think one of the keys is that from what we see here so far, we have a team that is beginning to sort of take Ange's DNA and begin to play the way he wants to play. And we can see it at the stats, almost straight up that, look, he's playing front foot football. He's playing positive football. He doesn't want to lose possession. He's keep possession. And there are going to be loads and loads of opportunities for people to score. Not necessarily Harry alone. I mean, then Scarlett came in towards the end. I mean, he had one chance and he put it away. So long may it continue. So if there are opportunities, I mean, for others to come in during the course of the season, we've got cup games coming up. So hopefully like I said, optimistic start. It looks things to look forward to, and yeah, plenty of positives to take from the game. So, what would you say your 5 biggest takeaways from this match would be? I mean, let's start from number 1. I mean, you take number 1, I'll take 2, and then we take.
Biggest takeaway is Harry Kane is still the best finisher you could ever have. That's number 1. Harry Kane he's proven his title as Tottenham's highest ever goal scorer. It's a crown that he can wear with pride, because you give the man a chance, Harry Kane scores. And should Harry Kane stay at Spurs this season, he's in for another wonderful season and a wonderful goal tally, you know. And yeah, that's it. Harry Kane is an assassin.
Yeah, for me, it will be Manor Solomon. It comes on as an impact sub in a match, and he just makes that bit of difference, especially when we need to break down attack, especially when other teams are tiring, and they seem to be, and we don't seem to find a spark to do it. I think having Manor Solomon on at that point in time would be an absolutely amazing addition. Right, number 3. What the third thing?
Pierre-Emile Højbjerg is a very good player. He did so much that went unnoticed in the game. I think he does a lot that goes unnoticed. He's someone who divides the Tottenham fan base, but my goodness, today he was essential. And this is not, yes, it was a preseason game. Shakhtar Donetsk have already started their season, so they are quite fit. But the way he passed around them, the way he handled the ball, the way he cleaned up after his midfield, circulated, recycled the ball, I thought, yeah, if it really came down to a decision, if I had to make the decision, I wouldn't let him go now. There was a point I said, yeah, if he's going, we can get a replacement. But why get a replacement when you already have the player? So in terms of that, I thought Højbjerg had a wonderful game, and whoever it is that plays with him or rotates has to up his game. It's very good competition.
Number 3. Are we done number 3? Or that's you do number 3.
Number 3. Yeah. So you're 4. Yeah.
So number 4 for me is the way the squad is shaping up in terms of squad depth. We begin to see from the way that Ange is set up that we have clearly front foot football. We have plenty of competition for places, and it's going to look really, really good coming into the season. And it's well, I'm looking at it from the setup. The setup looks good. These players are beginning to look like they understand how he wants to set up. But the reality of it is that we won't know until the season kicks up. But the prospects look good. But finally,
number 5, I think Tottenham Hotspur fans will be very, very happy with the fact that they've gotten their football back. That's the biggest takeaway. I think people going there today saw attacking football. They saw players that actually moved, switched positions, attacked for most of the 90 minutes. I think it was almost 70% possession by Tottenham. And it wasn't just useless possession, it was possession aimed at penetrating and executing to score goals, something we've not been used to for the last 3-4 years. So it was great for the fans to see. I think the fans go away hopeful, based on whatever happens transfer wise. And also the fans got a chance to see Mickey van der Ven, who's been gotten and is supposed to be carrying out his medicals this week. So it gives them hope that they're acquiring players that can fit Ange Postecoglou's methods, and Postecoglou's methods are already showing signs, shoots of improvement in certain players we wrote off as well. So I think the fans can be quite enthusiastic about a good season ahead. Yo.
Kane is away. He hopes he's wrong. I hope he's wrong too. Now, David Clark. Now, listen to this. David Clark says he supported Tottenham since 1961. That's over 62 years ago, right? So I've been a Spurs greatest ever. Since Spurs greatest players, right? And so, you know, and as of course, he's seen us win many trophies. He's played table tennis with Eusebio in 1966 World Cup, and shook hands with Sir Tom Finney. We've got to take a bow for you, David Clark. Thank you so much for joining us. Honestly,
No, thank you for being involved as well. Someone like you that's seen it all. Wonderful.
You know, I need to find this applause thing on this mic thing, on this setup thing, and give you a big round of applause. Honestly, it's absolutely amazing. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for your comments.
We really, really appreciate it. Well,
there you go. You're back. Okay.
Fantastic.
You're looking for the applause.
Right, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us. Yes. Now, you still say Greaves is still the greatest of them all.
No, greatest goal scorer. I didn't say greatest player. I said greatest goal scorer.
Yeah.
I chose my words very carefully.
And he won 3 cups, you know. Yeah, you says he cried when we were relegated in 1977. Some of the people who listen to us now weren't even born then, but hey, there you go.
I wasn't born then either, so I can't even say.
Well, there you go. So David Clark says Spurs' best ever player, John White. A lot of people don't even know who John White is.
Yeah, no, my dad told me who John White. My dad.
Right. Okay.
My dad is a Greaves man, but close second before we were John White. Yes, my dad is a Greaves guy, but John White was next, and then Gilzine as well. He doesn't look at anyone else after that. I'm a huddle guy.
This is it, you know. And well, even though I know those guys, I'm still a Kane guy, so I've seen it all. I think, you know, even though Kane hasn't won anything for us yet.
So,
you know, but,
so wait. So you're saying Kane as? So I said Kane as goal scorer. I didn't say as greatest ever player. My greatest ever player is Glenn Hoddle. So you're saying player, not goal scorer.
I think player. I mean, because ultimately it's got about. So, I mean, listen. Okay, so there's so many things you want to see. I mean, when you go to a match, you want to hear excitement. You want to sort of get up your seats and cheer, and you know, I mean, and Kane. Whenever you get into that stadium, you know he's going to score a goal, and you know, for me that's it. I mean, again, those things are a matter of opinion, aren't they? So, I mean, some people might agree with you, some people might not agree with you. Would love to hear from you. If you're watching this, who's Spurs' greatest ever player? I would love to hear from you. Dave Clark says John White. You know, yeah. Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one who died when he was hit by lightning. That's the one. Yeah, he was 27.
Yeah,
and that was tragic. Yeah, you're right. I remember that as well. Yeah, so thank you very much, guys. It's been an absolutely fantastic episode with plenty of contribution from our guests, from the audience. This is what we love to see. Thank you so much. I really, really love this. Thank you for your contribution. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for those who haven't. Thank you for those who watch us. And if you haven't subscribed, please go to and hit the subscribe button. If you also want to hit the notification bell button to get notified anytime we go live. It's been a pleasure being here. Greaves scores his goals at better rate than Kane. Are you serious?
Yes, he did. He did.
Oh, well, there you go. So there awesome. You go. I mean, honestly, I guess it's a matter of generation, isn't it?
It's a generational thing. Whoever is in the generation, right?
Absolutely. You know, but final word from you before we close this off.
A 5-star performance from Tottenham. 5-star, 5-goal performance from Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. 4 goals and a 5-star performance from Harry Kane. Looking forward to the next game. Looking forward to the next game.
Why am I laughing? Why am I laughing before you go? Eric says, "Wow, Sergeant Kane." Really? Of course, it has to be Kane.
I know, Eric. Like I said, Eric.
Honestly, don't forget. For me, I mean, for you to score that many goals in a Spurs team, right? And you're looking at even being the top scorer in the league. I mean, in Premier League history, that is phenomenal.
It wasn't without creativity.
Even without creativity.
It was a Spurs team that was front foot for majority of those goals. He scored majority of those goals, I think, in the era of the Poch era, did he not? So yeah, you kind of look at. But anyway, no. It's a thing. But like I said, the performances are great. Spurs have played very, very well. We're all looking forward to possibly the Barcelona game, regardless of the result. And yeah, I'm really, really thankful for the involvement. I've really enjoyed reading David Clark,
Yeah,
Brian
David,
as
thank you so
well,
much. And it says, I
The
mean,
Celtic
Scott
fans,
Proud
and
more league
everyone
goals
else.
than Kane over his career. I mean, come on. So
Yeah,
there you go. I mean,
keep
Kane's
the
career is
info
nowhere near
going.
ended anyway. So yes, we'll see how far how what sort of heights he hits. But you
Long may it
know,
continue.
not many will be in front of Huddle. Well, I love Huddle as well. No, don't get me wrong. You know, but I mean, yes, it's there's so many players to choose from. You know, you have Huddle, you have Modric. Okay, we didn't spend too long with us. You know, but you know,
Modric and Bale don't get into the conversation, in my opinion. They
well,
don't.
there you
They
go.
don't.
You know, coming. You, which is right. I mean, you say that look, he's got 357 league goals. So you know, and football didn't start with the Premier League. That's Greaves. You know, amazing. you know, you know. So yeah, I mean, and then you got to say, I mean, Kane,
And on horrible pitches,
absolutely,
horrible
absolutely,
muddy pitches.
yeah. And then it says Kane's a true great because Greaves played for great
Because
teams
great
when
play
Kane
for great
didn't. You know.
teams.
Ah, my goodness, my goodness! You mentioned something there, which I know we've started this thread of saying who's the greatest player, and he's put Dembele is a true great. Now,
Yeah, we accept. I
Musa
accept. Musa
Dembele, come
Dembele.
on! Now,
Musa Dembele is the great.
that's
I
another big
agree.
shout. You know, I love
I
Musa
agree.
Dembele to
I
bits.
agree. I agree.
A beast of a player. You know, it's a shame that he didn't really stay that long with us. You know, and it came out. You know what? I love Dembele. Dembele had this silky scales. You know, and someone wrote something. Someone wrote a piece which I read was that when Dembele picks up the ball, right, he drops his shoulder and the whole stadium moves with his shoulder.
It's very, very poetic.
It's like drops the shoulder and the whole stadium moves in that direction and it changes pace and everyone's left before
I
the
think
road.
you
Yeah.
call him a delicious. He's a delicious player.
Yeah,
Delicious.
yeah.
Like,
Oh, David,
what
you're
a guy.
spoiling us with your insight into the game today. Van der Vaart, a genius, absolutely correct. I can't.
I think Van der Vaart is our best January signing of all time. I think
Yes,
we've signed
I would
the
agree to. I
best
will.
January
Yeah,
signing of all
transfer
time
window signing.
is
I think he's
Rafael Van der
one of the
Vaart.
best, and he still supports us still today. You know, every time
Today,
he's so passionate about Tottenham. You know, even though he wasn't there for that long. You know.
and he's been gracious enough to give up his VDV to Mickey Van der Ven. He's happy for him to be called VDV like we called him. So nice.
Yeah, and you also say that with players trying to chop you in half to get better production now, which is true. I mean, you
Yeah,
don't.
exactly,
I mean,
exactly.
the sort of tackles they got away with in those days. You can't get away with those tackles
Bite,
these days. You
bite
know.
your legs. If we players called Norman, bite your legs, Hunter.
Oh, Norman Hunter.
To
Gosh,
get
I love Norman Hunter
run
for
Chopper
Leeds United
Harris to
back in the
get
day.
the
Gosh.
player's
Oh,
nickname for brutality, and
I
you
know.
still end up scoring a lot of goals in the first division. No, Jimmy Greaves is really someone. Yeah, rest in peace. Great player.
Oh,
No
he says,
comments, huh?
please, man, what a great diver with grace.
Nice
Thank
one.
you so much,
It was
Dave.
great. It
Thank
was
you for your
great being on the
contribution.
show
I
today.
love
Lovely,
this.
lovely,
Thank you,
David.
guys.
Thank you for your
We'll have to shut this down, and yeah, hopefully we'll see you after the Barcelona game.
Yeah, other side.
Subscribe to the channel, and yeah, we'll look forward to see you guys very soon. In the meantime, let's have a look, and then we say, "Come on, ye Spurs!"
Spurs. Night, guys.
Guys, take care.
Interesting. I like this.